I brought up your new title, which entails a slightly broader realm of coverage that now includes NVIDIA. What is your opinion of the political controversy surrounding the sale of chips in China? Does that pose a greater risk now than it did in the past because of Trump's planned relationship with China? Yes, I believe it's a negotiating chip since everyone understands that Musk and Trump are the only players in the game. Isn't that NVIDIA? It's Jen's NVIDIA and Godfather V. It will eventually come to pass. This will offer them more negotiating leverage when it comes selling chips into China. The tariffs were visible to you. Although I believe it has had a limited effect on NVIDIA, we still think that this is all paving the way for a golden age of AI, not only for NVIDIA, but for the entire IT industry. However, they are using it as a negotiating chip with Beijing. Finally, before I leave, NVIDIA, what's coming up next week? The profits, huh? How do we feel about this direction? Grab some popcorn, prepare the watch parties. This is going to be really amazing. Over the next year or two, I believe the street will continue to underestimate where numbers go. They will probably fight this one, but in the end, a market value of $4 trillion is anticipated. We'll stop there. DC? No, absolutely not. We did notice some softness around the edges with Amazon, after all, from the standpoint of an advertisement. We saw it on YouTube. Then you look at what we think is only the beginning of the fourth industrial revolution. Examine Microsoft in relation to the Azure guidelines. Take a look at what we observed from Google, Amazon, and Microsoft regarding the cloud. Examine Palantir's offerings from the standpoint of the use case. Additionally, I believe ServiceNow is beginning to notice it as well. We estimate that this is simply the beginning of a large capital expenditure program of $1 trillion over the next several years. Furthermore, I'm not claiming that everything will go smoothly. In the tech industry, there will be some speed bumps. We're helping investors through it, though, because I think this tech bull market is well started despite, of course, some of the macro concerns we've seen over the past week. Yes, and in terms of suppliers, that's actually throughout Asia, how we've consistently been able to acquire a better picture of the iPhone supply chain, in my opinion. Units were released at the beginning of this. For the iPhone 16, we estimated it to be between 80 and 84 million. But now, we think it may reach as high as 90 million. And it is significant because, in essence, that is what Apple is communicating to suppliers about the iPhone 16's demand outlook. We still think that this marks the beginning of Apple's AI-driven supercycle. According to your most recent note, there is greater mergers and acquisitions in the technology sector during a Trump presidency. What areas are affected and why? Indeed, I believe that M&A will have a Goldilocks moment. You see, regulation has been a major problem. Hubris, valuation. I believe that a tidal wave of M&A is about to occur, particularly in the areas of cybersecurity, AI, and infrastructure software. Almost like a tech prom, and I've seen a lot of both private and public ones. However, nobody is actually urging anyone to dance on either side. I believe this is the beginning of it. In my view, a Trump administration might lead to significant M&A. That's in the public marketplace, all right. I will come over to you, Alex. As we indicated, you are an early-stage investor in Airbnb and Pinterest. The private markets are open to you. What does the election of President Trump, or President-elect Trump, I should say, signify for private market tech companies? We had previously heard that valuations were being pressured. Now Donald Trump is retaking the White House. Does that change? Overall, I believe it to be very optimistic for private enterprises. In my opinion, there are some that are really bullish, particularly the businesses in the Elon Musk universe, such as SpaceX. Elon Musk's abilities under what has essentially been a hostile White House have been demonstrated, It will be amazing, I believe, and I believe this is true for private markets as a whole, whether the White House is neutral or positive. Alex, we were having a conversation off-air. It's referred to as the Musk economy. Elon Musk's corporate empire is depicted in this graphic. I mean, there are a lot of different businesses. The boring company is it. It's XAA. Naturally, it's X itself. It's SpaceX and Tesla. What sort of valuation premium do you think we currently have under what appears to be a much friendlier administration, of which Elon Musk may be a part? When we look at these various companies, Yes, I believe that in certain ways, SpaceX and Tesla are so powerful that they contributed to Trump's election victory. We're going to see the deployment of these potentially extraordinary infrastructures across the nation, but particularly in the redder states that voted for him, at a much faster pace, in my opinion, because of the lack of regulations and the American construction culture. So I'd like to return to you, Dan. Once more, your updated note indicates that there will be additional M&A. You anticipate more mergers and acquisitions during a Trump administration. On election night, however, we were together. You joined us in the studio. This was the topic of our conversation. Tesla was one of the stocks that surged. We've already discussed it. We did a good job covering it. However, you mentioned that you view other equities as beneficiaries, including Apple, Google, and Palantir. Why is that? Palantir, in my opinion, will be at the forefront of this golden age of AI infrastructure. From the standpoint of the US DoD, I believe that Karp and his team will be spending a lot of money in the belt. Hyperscalers. Judging by companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, this is indeed the beginning of a new era of AI infrastructure. Despite some concerns about the China tariff, I feel that Cupertino is at the forefront of the consumer AI revolution, which is why I think Trump's entry into the tech industry is important. Tell me if you require any other adjustments. This is the continuation using simply grammatical corrections. Trump's admission is a culmination of what Alex discussed. Excellent, outstanding points. Today marks the start of a new era in the IT bull market. Therefore, the notion that there will be less regulation has given some sectors a boost. Do you think technology will see a similar surge in the future? The general consensus, I believe, is that Lina Khan will leave the FTC. Simply said, the regulatory environment will change. For tech, Khan has been a nightmare, and I believe that when she leaves, the entire landscape shifts. I believe that the regulatory environment will be significantly more hospitable to mergers and M&A as a result of some of the things Alex discussed. As this AI revolution unfolds, I believe big tech will now start to become a little more aggressive when it comes to M&A, particularly in the AI space. I want to return to you, Alex, and discuss some of these significant private issues.